Hello and welcome to Graceful Connections presented by Academy for the Soul. I'm your host, Sophie Bidard, and the co-creator of Graceful Connections together with Christel Hughes, founder of Academy for the Soul, the online school for intuitive arts. Graceful Connections is an adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression, which is facilitated, amplified, magnified, and blessed really with grace. As graceful connections are woven between you and our expert speakers, your guides into gracefully catalyzing your intuition. Thank you for being with us and bringing your unique vibration, colors, and energetic imprint, without which something would be missing. Thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling to transcend limitations, align with your highest potential, fully embody multidimensional consciousness, which is what our guest, Jules Arnes, will be sharing with us today. And that's going to be fascinating for sure. So let's begin. I invite you to relax and take a few deep breaths. Breathing out all that does not belong to this moment. Let's bring all of your attention and your presence here and now. We set our intention that our time together, all that is shared in words and beyond the words, all the energies that we call in and flow serve our highest good, our evolution, and be of service to the highest good of all. I invite you to open your heart, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. And to open your mind, or open it even more, and be ready to receive. Activating your connection to the new Earth crystalline grid and your connection to galactic center, the center of truth. You are held, both grounded and suspended. You are safe, relaxed, and ready, and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe and placing the orb of grace around our group, our gathering, each and every one of us. That we be held in the orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. Let's take a moment to adjust to the purity and the subtle high frequency of grace, allowing it to gracefully dissolve, realign, harmonize, amplify, magnify all that needs to be so, in purest alignment with divine will and the divine order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Now, within the orb of grace, I'm delighted to welcome our expert speaker, vibrational healer, pioneer in advancing the human experience, Jules Arnes, who will offer fascinating insights about unlocking intuition with DNA light language. It is such a blessing to have you with us today, Jules. Welcome.
Thank you, Sophie. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we're very happy to have you. And everyone, before we jump into the conversation, that for sure is going to be fascinating. I want you to know Jules is also going to offer intuitive readings today. So to request your reading, press *2 on the phone or click raise hand on the webcast to get on the line with Jules, or you can place your request in the Q&A box on the web. And the question to ask for your reading is, can you read my biology to help me ascend my consciousness? For now, let's dive into our fascinating topic. And I'd like to begin with asking you, Jules, what does DMT, divine molecular technology, mean, and why is it important in advancing the human experience?
So yes, this is my passion is activating this. It really is a divine operating system of the body. So if you think about a divine molecular technology, and I like to just really make it easy and just showing that most of us are experiencing 2 of 12 strands of DNA, and science really focuses on studying the body as matter. And as we start to activate our divine molecular technology, we start to move into a higher operating system to where the body becomes multidimensional. And we start to tap into what those other 10 strands of DNA have, both on a conscious level, but also in the experience of the body. And it's really time to not just ascend consciously, but to ascend through this divine vehicle that we are all in. So you can kind of look at it as taking the distortion of the way our body is operating, because we are focused on the body as matter, and then opening it up to that divine technology to where we experience our innate being or our full potential.
So it's about as you said, to ascend consciously and ascend in embodiment, right? To ascend in an embodied way, right?
In an embodied way, but also through our body. You know, our body is a divine technology, and because we are so focused on the body as matter, we kind of are missing the vehicle that it actually has the capability of being, and it is the most advanced technology there is. But we are looping in, you know, the life and death cycle and disease, and that the body is creating these chemicals that keep us in a primal state of consciousness. But when we actually move into these other 10 strands of DNA, and they are all operating as the system of intelligence that's holding the frequency of source, we actually expand our awareness of what our body actually is, and we start to tap into a higher potential. And I'm just even going to say it's so beyond what we can understand. If you can think about us only using like 2 to 7%. I always like to just keep the number really low. I can't really say exactly what the percentage is, but there's a good 90% of our potential that we are not using at this time, and it is all stored in our DNA.
Right, yeah, and that gives us a sense of how unimaginable it is, right? With our 10%, how can we have any clue of what's going on in the 90%? For sure, that's wow. Okay, so let's talk DNA then. Why is DNA the most advanced technology there is? And yeah, let's start with this, actually.
Right. So if you see the DNA as the storage, right? It has the transcribed information of our divine technology. And then we, as conscious beings, have a tool to co-create and interact within that technology. But so many of us haven't been taught how to attune consciousness to an intelligence, and we're more focused on trying to create from this distorted operating system. So the DNA is is the information. It's the blueprint, if you will, but it's also running the technology. So just like I like to see it like a Google system, just like you would pull out your computer and want to ask a question. Instead of going to your computer, you would go to the operating system, which is your DNA, and ask for specific questions. And then once the question is asked consciously, a frequency is released in the body and starts to run through this higher operating system or this multidimensional operating system of our body. And then we start to connect to the intelligence of that frequency is holding, and we start to shift our reality and receive information that's beyond something that's already been programmed.
Okay. Wow. Don't we want that for sure? Don't we want? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for making it so simple to get. Thank you for bringing it to our understanding. Thank you so much. So with that, how can it happen that we turn off our divine operating system of the body? Why would we do that?
Well, it's the next in human evolution. So up until this point, so many of our if we call them practices or religions, however you want to see it, it's all about removing consciousness from the body. It's like we go somewhere in order to evolve. And now we're being called to evolve through the body itself. And so when we start to activate our divine technology, we start to move past the way our body is operating. And when we do that, we learn to heal instantly. We learn to manifest instantly. And we learn to hold our consciousness outside of our programming. So our programming could be anywhere from limited beliefs, past traumas, even on a genetic level. It could be something that maybe is in the genetics. And sciences are now proving that genetic diseases, whether we have the markers for them or not, it's about 2% of, even if you have a marker, that it's the DNA itself that's turning those on. So when we start to activate our divine technology, we're putting our physical body into a higher frequency. The frequency of the DNA that's transcribed there is actually measured at 963 hertz. Our physical body is measured at 7.8 to 8 hertz. So you can imagine when we start to turn on the divine molecular technology, that our body is going to go from about 8 hertz to 9.63 hertz. That's a huge frequency shift. So we do it gradually. And so the more that we co-create with this intelligence that's transcribed in our DNA, the more we start to experience our divine technology.
Okay, let's do that. I'm all for it. I mean, let's do that. Yes. Now, let's talk intuition, Jules. Why is intuition the gateway into the next in the human evolution, and how can we use it to live at our highest potential?
So for me, intuition is the way that we will all start to experience this world. And we have our regular senses where we're seeing through a physical reality. Even on a sensing level, most of what we're experiencing, just on a day-to-day level that we're paying attention to, is more of that emotion. Like what chemicals are being released in our body? What are we hearing? What are we tasting? And as we start to shift into the evolved human, we actually start to move our consciousness into what we would call our clairs. And so we start to have sensations before it actually hits the physical body, because we start to experience life multidimensionally. So what that could look like is that you see something before you physically see it. You hear something before you physically hear it. Even smell things before you physically smell it. And so we're starting to learn to use our senses at a higher level, those intuitive hits, and we're learning to process it as information. I like to call this reading frequency, that you start to see life beyond matter and you start to receive information through frequency without having to physically see, hear, or feel something first. So it really is going to be our experience of the advanced human is that we're going to be processing information on a much faster level, which allows us to actually shift outside of timelines because we don't have to actually wait for something to physically come into our experience to see, hear, or feel it, that we will actually tap in multidimensionally to where we're receiving information outside of timelines.
Mm-hmm. So is this what you mean, that as we can perceive it before it becomes physical, then we can transform it, we can change it, we can reprogram it and bring it to a higher level than what it was about to unfold? Is that what you mean?
That could be one example. Another example is that when we start to receive information as frequency, where we're holding consciousness can be a huge shift in reality as well. So when we're working with our divine operating system and we're asking it questions and these frequencies start to release in our body and we use our consciousness to receive the information that that frequency is releasing, we start to receive information that isn't already programmed. So meaning that it's at a purer level. And so we don't really have thoughts of, oh, I'm going to interrupt that pattern, or, oh, I'm not going to have that happen. We're more in a co-creative space with the intelligence of source. And we're just gently guided by listening to this intelligence over receiving information from a reality that's already been programmed. And that could be our past beliefs, or it could be something that we're actually seeing within the news, or you hear it from a friend, or it's where we're just, any way that you receive information, it helps us discern, okay, is this, this is probably only 10% of that 90% of truth. So I'm going to go ahead and I can see it, I can receive this information, but now I'm going to have it run through my divine operating system. I'm going to allow source to inform it, and then that's where I'm going to go to actually create a reality to receive information, because I know it's going to be pure. And that's why listening to our intuition over anything that we see in the media or anything else is always the best way to live our lives.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yes. Okay. Got it. Okay, wonderful. Well, let's tap right into your intuition and your ability, your gift of reading frequency, if that's a good time to get personal
Absolutely.
with intuitive readings. Yes, because many of our audience want to know. So let's do this. So everyone, to request your reading, press *2 on the phone or click raise hand on the web to get on the line with Jules, or place your request in the Q&A box on the web. The question again to ask for your reading is, can you read my biology to help me ascend my consciousness? So we're going to start with live callers, then we'll go to the Q&A and we'll go back and forth. Let's begin by going to a web call. You are signed up as Nat. I don't have your location, so Nat, I'm unmuting you. Hello. Nat, are you there? Are you with us? Or not? Okay. Then we're going to go to the next. Susan in Washington, Maryland. Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome, Susan.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad that you're there. Thank you.
Yes. Can you read my biology to raise my consciousness?
Yes, Susan. Is there something specifically that you want to focus on with something in your life that maybe you're wanting to have more awareness around or direction? Just, and if you don't, that's okay. But I always like to make it personal if possible.
Yes, bringing my gifts through, my intuitive gifts, becoming more aware of what they are and how to use them in service to people and animals.
Oh, and animals. Okay, love this. Okay, so I'm just going to, all right, so however we're going to read it is I'm going to read the code that is ready to release. So the way you can see this is it's kind of, there's specific codes that are going to come through that are going to answer your question. So it's just like a Google system, we're just tapping into your DNA and reading the frequency of what's ready to release. And your first code is a 1. So I'm going to go ahead and read your code and then I'll tell you what it means. So it's 18711. Oh, and I just got chills because this is so powerful. I'll give you the light language that goes with these codes so that you can continue to activate and attune your frequency. So the first code is asking that you reset. So it's meaning that to approach when you're going in to read something intuitively, that you go into a 0 point or release what you think it would be, if that will. And so one of the best ways to do that is the information that is, it's giving you the opportunity to kind of see yourself as in that inventor energy or the way you can, okay, this is exactly what they're saying. So pretend like you're about to write a book about something that has never been written before. So the only way that you're going to be able to write it is to go into that 0 point and allow it to just come through you. So just see yourself as this is the first time that I've ever received information. The second code that is supporting that is the ability to stay in flow. So as soon as the information starts to come in, just let it flow. Let it continue to flow. Don't grasp on to any one piece of information because that's what our mind wants to do, right? It wants to be like, oh, I recognize that. I'm going to go with that and kind of interrupt the flow of what's trying to happen. So just keep yourself in flow. And a way that you could practice this is by automatic writing and just not stopping, and then don't read what you wrote afterwards. Like wait a couple of days so that you can practice just receiving information without bringing your mind in. The last 2 codes came out together, and that was the 7 and the 11. So the 7 is, I like to see this one as the direct phone line to the divine. It's an open channel. And this one is also part of the identity of who you are. So the way that you could start is just saying, you know, I am an open channel of grace. I receive information with clarity through, you know, the frequency of my DNA or however it feels right for you. And then the 11 is the ability to hold consciousness outside of your programming. So it's the ability to actually be that open channel and not, just like I was saying before, interrupt it. So again, it's stepping in as if this is each time you are reading something intuitively, it's the first time you've ever done it. So you're not repeating a behavior. You're opening up and allowing the advancement to happen through each given moment. When you start to get information that comes in, keep it open, stay in flow. Don't interrupt it with your mind trying to make sense of what it is. Remain that open channel and connect to that intelligence by being, you know, that consciousness connected to source. So that is your code, and I'm just going to give you the light language that goes with that. So I'm just going to say it, and then if you want to go back and listen to the replay, or you can do that. So it's whoosh, we illume away. Whoosh, we illume away. So that you can just kind of feel that frequency as it activates this code in your body. You can feel those codes as they're advancing your operating system, allowing you to experience advancing your gifts of intuition through the frequency of your body. So let's say it one more time here. So it's whoosh, illume. Sorry, I just had a coming through. It interrupted me. So let me just send that. Okay, I apologize. So it's whoosh, we, illume, awa. Great, Susan. So let me just tap into your body and make sure that it's holding that frequency, and it is. And so now your practice is to just allow yourself to feel the frequency you're feeling right now, and then matching your consciousness to that frequency to receive information, because you are an open channel of the divine. How are you feeling?
Good. Feels very good.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Blessings. Thank you, Jules.
Thank
Wow, what a gift. What a gift. What a gift to Susan. Now, before we go to the next, I want to ask you, Jules, when you read for someone, can we all take it in? Can we all absorb?
Yes, of course, and that's the beauty of working with the DNA, is that that frequency that's transcribed in each and every one of us is the intelligence of source, and we're each holding that intelligence, and our experience of that intelligence is how we're holding consciousness in it. And so that's a universal thing. You know, we're all in the source field, and that source field is part of our operating system, and that's what interconnects us all.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So one asks and everyone receives. So that's really wonderful. Thank you. I had that impression. Just wanted to be sure, and also to invite everyone to take it all in. So we're in for a treat today, definitely. So now with that, let's go to London with Isabel. I'm unmuting you, Isabel. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi. Hi.
Welcome, Isabel. Hello, Isabel. Are you with us? Oh, you're muted. Don't mute yourself. Hello, Isabel. You're with us.
Okay,
now you're good. Yes.
Now I'm good. Thank you.
Now you're good. Yeah, welcome.
Hi, hello, Jules and everybody. So if you can do a reading for me for abundance mainly, I seem to lose it more than magnetize it. So I don't know what's going wrong. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Isabel, let's see. Ooh, well, you are a master. So let's look at this. All right, so we're pulling 3 codes. So we're reading the DNA and the 3 codes that are coming through. The first one is the 3, which is that creative energy. But what I actually love that it's starting with this code, because if you think about the 3, that's the first place where it starts to create form. So the way that you can see a 3 is like a blueprint. So if you're going to build a house, you have to create the blueprint first. And the blueprint is studied and it's measured, and it even has to be like approved to make sure that it's not going to fall apart. And I'll come back and read a little bit more about this. I'll go ahead and tell you what the rest of your codes are. Then you're moving into a 33, which is actually full mastery. And your last code is the 7, which is that direct phone line to source. So when I'm reading this code, I'm hearing when it comes to abundance, because that's what our focus is that you always start with the blueprint. And so meaning that you don't make choices around your abundance without it being part of the blueprint. And so I'm going to explain what that means here in just a second. But it also, what I'm feeling in that is that your blueprint is something that you're always pouring energy into, that you're always restructuring and designing. And as you're designing, you're attuning to that intelligence of your body or using your intuition or just waiting for that divine yes. I'm going to explain this just a little bit further because the information that's trying to come through with this is that you wait for an emotional response to pass before you make decisions so that it is based in a structure that has a strong foundation. That allows you to master reality and master your abundance because it's always being based on a divine blueprint. And then the last code, which is a little bit weird because I would think that this one would come first, but it's actually coming last. So the last one is that you stay open to receiving information through the divine. So if we're going to add these all together, basically what this is saying is that you have a blueprint of mastery. You're already a master. So stop questioning that part of yourself and stop feeling like there's something wrong with you. And know that this is just one area of your life that you're here to be a master of. And your approach to how you're seeing this place of mastery is the mastery in itself. So meaning that you're not doing anything wrong. It's just trying to teach you how to be a master of abundance. And so with your code here, it's making decisions through that foundation of not responding emotionally to your choices and allowing the divine to actually guide your choices. I actually personally have what I live by is that the divine is the CEO of my life. Mm-hmm. And so every decision that I make has to go there first. And if that means I have to wait a couple of days before I make the choice, because I have to allow the blueprint to unwind, then I have to do that. And that's what it is to be a master. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. But sometimes I don't hear the guidance of the divine somehow, or maybe I don't trust it enough, or I go to the other way maybe, or I go into a panic state, stressed. So how can I strengthen more this guidance?
So I'm going to give you the light language that goes with your code. So that would be the first thing that you could do is just activate your body so it's holding that higher frequency, but also knowing that when you go into that panic or fear, that's your distorted operating system. And that's part of what keeps us looping and not being able to shift. And so by asking for these codes to release, it gives you something else to focus on. And so we always want to wait until the emotional response leaves the body, which takes about 90 seconds. All of the thoughts that come after an emotional response of your body is your programming. So it's that at that point is when you use your mastery to wow, look at these thoughts that I have coming through. I think I'm going to lose all my money, or I think I'm going to end up on the street, or I'm afraid to make a decision because I don't know what to trust, and see that all as your programming, those belief systems that don't serve you anymore. Once you allow yourself to kind of see and process through that, then you can do this light language I'm about to give you to release that frequency. And one of your first questions could be is, body, show me what it feels like to say yes or to receive information through my divine operating system. And then start to communicate with that operating system. Say, okay, well, I'm not really feeling anything. Can you make this feeling stronger? Mm-hmm. And then once you kind of feel something and be like, okay, can you give me another sensation in my body so that I know when this happens to pay attention? So it may be like you get goosebumps. So start to communicate with your operating system and ask the divine to kind of start communicating in a way that is so what word am I trying to say here? It's like the more that you communicate and you receive the feedback when you're not in an emotional response, the more you're going to trust that feedback when you are, I think is the point here.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I'm going to give you your light language for this. So it's Sawan, Awi, Sawan, Awe, Alum. Let me say it again. Sawan, Awe, Alum. Sawan, Awe, Alum. Sawan, Awe, Alum. So just feeling that as it activates and starts to raise the frequency of your body, and allow your consciousness to go into the sensation of your body. So have it move out of your mind and just feel the frequency of your body. And then from this place, you can start to communicate with your divine operating system. And you're not trying to receive information, you're allowing the information to come to you. And that right there, I'm getting, is probably your biggest takeaway, is asking to receive information and allowing it to come through versus trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And we can do a little practice on the difference of that here in a little bit with everybody. But just remember that you're allowing versus trying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you, Isabel. Thank you, Jules. Blessings to you, Isabel. Thank you for all that came through, that you brought through for yourself and for everyone. That was really rich. What a treasure. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to Sedona, Arizona with Matthew. I'm muting you, Matthew. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome, Matthew.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, Matthew. Do you have something you'd like to focus on today?
First of all, I would like to say how much I admire your spiritual intelligence. The ability to float with the items that are actually being in the midst of creation, and at the same time being able to notice when you're in the flow and when the design or the frequencies are entering into the creative process. I mean, all of that is like symphonic, practically. Mm-hmm. So I guess my question, and I put it into the Q&A, to what degree is it possible to use a visualization to hold things like the frequency and the rate of flow and so forth? I mean, I'm sort of a shamanic in the sense of being connected to visualization as a technique for representing and holding different kinds of processes. So I was just wondering about that.
I love this question, and ironically, this is very much connected to kind of where I just ended with Isabella. So I feel like the best way that I can have is to have the experience, and then if we want to pull a couple codes for you, we can. But I'm just going to show you the difference between visualization and then seeing through the divine operating system. And then you can use both in whatever way that feels right for you as you move forward. So we're just going to identify what the difference is first. So go ahead and shut your eyes and then imagine a sunflower. And just let it pop up into your third eye.
Okay.
And see your sunflower. Okay, so now just open your eyes and shake it out. And now go ahead and shut your eyes again. And we're going to release into your divine operating system through the DNA the frequency of a sunflower through source intelligence. So you can see allowing source to release the frequency of a sunflower. And now just allow your consciousness to move into your body. And just ask the operating system to release the sunflower. And now just allowing yourself to receive that information from outside of where you would normally visualize from.
Right.
You see the difference?
Yes, I do. It's like as a child knowing the difference between imagining something versus actually seeing something.
Right. So one is kind of more, when we imagine something, we're like a step above like the programmed experience of that, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. We can use imagination. Imagination is a great place to be. But when we shift our consciousness and we begin to attune by allowing the intelligence to show us a sunflower, we start to experience the sunflower multidimensionally, because when we turn on that divine operating system, when we ask to experience what a sunflower is beyond what our knowing, our programming is, we find that it's actually something much more expanded, and we can feel the difference in our body. It feels different to imagine something than to allow a frequency to show us something. And that's where we're all going. And what starts to happen is that we are starting to receive information beyond what's already been programmed, and it's the purest form of what that is. And so when we tap our consciousness or attune our consciousness to that frequency, we start to receive information multidimensionally, and then we can start to play within that operating system. So let's say you're wanting to visualize something in order to manifest. Well, this allows you to move outside of timelines and begin to co-create within what we would maybe visualize, and actually have it be a frequency that's more multidimensional, where you're actually moving past any limitation that may have been there before. Make sense?
Beautifully spoken. I have to say that you're really a great guide in being able to take where I'm at and feeling the energy of where I'm at, but moving that beyond the realm of its original creations. So what I'm seeing as the difference between visualization and the experience of multidimensionality is like being in a garden, seeing the sunflower, imagining the sunflower in my head, dismissing that, and then suddenly it comes back as a multidimensional form where I experience a star point of each one of the sunflower's experience in different dimensional forms, like traveling in a rocket to the Big Dipper and feeling the star of each of the Big Dippers, realizing that it's actually a different dimension of the same entity. This is kind of like mathematics in a way, the way that you outline it. It's beautiful.
I love, you just said that so beautifully. So I'm going to give you your code. So you start with the 33, which is full mastery. Then you have the 7, which is that open channel to the intelligence. And then your last one is a 2, which is the bridge between form and spirit, but it's also very clear, precise communication through source. And you just did exactly that, is you had an experience, you held the frequency, you spoke through the frequency, and only a master can do that, right? Because you already know this, you're just remembering it, and you're able to communicate what you're remembering because you're holding the frequency of the truth of it, and it's really amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Matthew.
Can I just add one little note here?
Of course.
This is like a bonus to you having the patience to guiding a little kindergartner through these forms, because now I am actually aware of multidimensional beings from different parts of the galaxy at the same time. It's almost like you turned what was at one point an image into a key that opens all images.
Beautifully said. You give me chills.
Wonderful. Thank you. I wonder one more thing, if I can take one of your classes that you're offering as a bonus.
Yes, please join us. I believe you're going to love it. Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you,
Matthew. Blessings. Thank you, Jules. Wow, that was something. Just to comment on my experience, Jules, of releasing was it felt similar to shape-shifting into a sunflower, of becoming a sunflower, and to the degree that I can relate to it. So there's a conscious degree of it, but there's so much more that after our call I will dive into it, having an experience of what it is to be a sunflower. So that's very very intriguing for sure. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
So I'm standing here as a sunflower. Let's go on. Let's go on with our call. Thank you, Matthew, for bringing all of this through. Nat, let's try with you again, Nat. I'm unmuting you. Hello, here you are.
Hello, could you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hello?
Yes,
okay.
welcome.
Sorry about that. My speaker was not working.
You're
before.
welcome.
I was wondering if you may be able to tune into my frequency, and I just love the last caller and the multidimensional with the flowers, because I was trying to do something like that with my own healing, so I just found that very interesting.
I love that. So what would you like to focus on?
Well, right now there's a lot of physical things happening in the body, which I recognize, like everything starts out as energy. There just seems to be some blocks moving forward, and I'm working on using frequency to harmonize the body to reduce the physical symptoms. So there's just like a lot of stagnation. So perhaps that's fear.
Just give me 1 moment. I'm going to, I'll give you something very specific here. Okay, good. You got this. Okay, so I'm going to read your code first, and then I'm going to give you a couple to do energetically, and then I'll also give you the light language. So the first code you're getting is the 9. So right here, we know that this is, it's kind of, the vision that I'm getting is it's kind of like this separation between kind of like knowing that your body is, say this, well, I'll just say what it would be in reality. It would be that saying of being in the matrix, but not of the matrix. And so So now instead of seeing that as a reality, see that as your body. So there's a part of you that knows that the way that your body is operating isn't the truth of who you are. And it's kind of, so some thoughts that may go with that is, why am I not healing instantly? Or I know that I should be able to not experience my body in optimum health, but I'm not. So there's like these trips of consciousness that are happening because you consciously understand the truth of your innate being, but then when you go to have the experience in your physical form, it's not matching. So the 9 is connected to the stomach, which is actually like almost like a second brain. That's where we get our intuitive hits and that sort of thing. And so the point that you can press if you want to, just do go about, I don't know, just like maybe 4 finger lengths below your belly button. And I want you to just press on that as we activate the 9th code here. And so we're just connecting consciousness to the higher operating system so that the conscious understanding of your healing is supported through this multidimensional experience of your body. And then the second code that we're going to go to is the 6, which is actually ascending the DNA. It's ascending the bloodline, genetics, and this one is connected to the reproductive system. We're just going to go to the back of, I know where your cervical spine is, and you're just going to, now I want you to put your other finger, so you'll have one finger below your navel and one just at the base of your neck is fine. If you want to just press that area, and we're going to activate the code 6. And this is allowing your body to harmonize. Just feeling that as it harmonizes. And then we're going to move to the liver, which is code number 2. It's also that bridge between spirit and form. And then I'll just activate this one. It's just right on the top of your foot, between your big toe and the toe right next to it. So I'm just going to activate that one for you. So we're activating all 3 codes. And then I'm going to go ahead and just start the light language. Shana, your way. Ra. 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 All right, so the information that is coming through, and I just want you to go ahead and just stay in this frequency. But we're going to connect into, I'm just going to go, and this is going to be good for anybody that's like wanting to manifest or shift energy. So I want you to see, or just stay with me here. So you have over 50 trillion cells in your body. And each of your cells has 1.4 volts of energy. Within every single cell, you have 150 trillion atoms. And every atom is a vortex. We're going to just activate one vortex that holds all of that energy. And just see it as it is opening up in your heart space. All of the energy of your body is connecting into your ascended DNA, creating this beautiful vortex of energy, just allowing your consciousness to move from the experience of matter or form to energy. As you place your consciousness in the center of this vortex, you exist beyond matter. You have the ability to shift So just in this moment, as you're holding your consciousness in the center of this vortex, command that your body heal. Command your quantum body activate that divine molecular technology, come on, and begin to communicate with your body as an operating system of an intelligence. By keeping your consciousness in the center of this vortex, it allows you to exist beyond matter. Say, ode one more time. Shana, Yure, Ra. And now just feeling the frequency of your body, allowing your consciousness to attune, knowing that all of the information that you're needing, the experience that you're looking for, is now coded in your body. Your divine operating system is running this software system for you to experience. And all you have to do is ask for the experience, and this code will reactivate. And then you focus on the frequency it's holding. How are you feeling?
I kind of feel like my cells are lit up. I feel some energy running through my body. My mind can't really make sense of it though. Like it's subtle, but I did feel a shift.
The mind is going to be, and that's really where we're going as we move into this new technology of our body, is that our mind is going to be the last to catch up. It will be the part of it is like it's activate the body, turn the frequency on, have the experience. So that was the feeling that like I kind of feel this and I feel this. That's the experience. So now your body is holding the frequency. And then eventually your consciousness is going to catch up to that frequency and it all will make sense, right? But we want to have the experience first because our body already knows this. Your body is already multidimensional. It's your consciousness not understanding what that means. And so if we can just allow ourselves to have the experience, eventually our consciousness catches up.
Thank you. And you absolutely tuned into exactly where the human issues are. So in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nat. Thank you. Blessings. And I love what just came through at the very last minute, Jules, that so once our mind gets it, it's our signal that the process is complete, right? When we get, oh, now I get it, and now we know that it's complete, and now our mind can be trusted with it, right? Because I guess maybe if our mind would get involved sooner, it would kind of mess with it, right? Get too involved instead of allowing the process to unfold. And once it is complete, then the mind gets it, and that's our signal we are done, this is complete. So that's really cool.
That was beautifully said. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay, let's take one request from the Q&A. We have so many requests. That's really wonderful. What I love, again, everyone, whether you get your request or not, everybody gets served by every reading that are so rich and profound. Reading and offerings of light language from Jules. So with that, we're going to Belgium with Catherine, who asks, can you read my biology to help me ascend my consciousness? Please, can you say something about or look specifically into the lumbar area of my spinal column vertebrae? So lumbar area.
Okay, so let's look here. Okay, so she is starting with the 8 to the 11 to, and I love she's ending with a 4 because that's the new structure. Okay, so let me just feel into this. All right, so the first frequency that I'm feeling into is that kind of primal fear or primal doubt. And so with the 8 that we're going to activate is to bring the ascension of the body out of the programmed experience of survival and bringing it into that frequency of flow, abundance. The way that you could say it is, instead of resisting change or resisting an experience or an emotion, that it allows consciousness to actually become whatever the shift is. So it's like, what does that even mean? It's, you hear that saying of, oh, just become the change, and it's not become the change of what you want it to be. It's actually just be what actually is changing. And so when we do that, we're actually moving into the flow of energy, and it releases any judgment or resistance of what's actually changing. And by doing that, it opens up that channel of our spine, because that's our sacred channel, and it actually attunes the spinal fluid. So we're going to do that here in just a minute. But I think the first awareness piece is recognizing, where am I resisting change? Where am I resisting because of fear or doubt? And then the second code is the 11, and that's the ability for, if you think of an 11, it is a channel, right? So it's opening up that channel and allowing the spinal fluid to hold the frequency of source, which is measured at 963 hertz. And then the last code you're getting is the 4, which is a foundation in the frequency of source. It is a solid foundation. So we want that solid foundation. So all that's trying to happen here is to move your experience of the body, your experience of reality, your experience of your belief systems, and moving it into a space where the energy can open up and flow, and allowing your body to actually become an open channel so that you can experience form in a space of flow and harmonization of energy. Let me see if there's anything else that's coming through here. As I do this activation, I want you to focus on the breath, and as you're breathing in and out, just asking that the frequency of your spinal fluid be raised to the frequency of source. If you think about your spinal fluid, it's not only what's supporting your entire spine and allowing energy to flow there, but it's also the cerebral spinal fluid is what your brain is floating in. So it's allowing consciousness to connect to the flow of energy, both on a physical level and on a spiritual level. All right, so we're going to go ahead and activate. I'm just going to do this in a little bit of a different way. We're going to bring the code 8 into the base of the spine, releasing it from the DNA. Now as the frequency of source is activated, just see it. It's like turning on a light. It starts out a little dim and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And as you're breathing, you're going to allow that light to move up through your spine and into the pineal gland, activating that frequency of source. And then we'll activate code 11. Just feeling the frequency of your body raising. And then we're going to activate code number 4 as it brings the frequency of your physical body into harmonization, activating that divine operating system. allowing the experience of your spine to move into the frequency of abundance and flow, peace and joy. Feeling that open up. Just give me one moment. Okay, so if you want to just go ahead and just you put your fingers, have you go like maybe like an inch above 2 inches. You know what, I'll just do it for you. And just putting that code number 4 in your lower spine, just right where I'm seeing kind of the stuck energy. And then I'm going to add the 8 to open it up. And then we'll open the 11 so that it's a clean channel. Great. Okay, so then I'm just going to add the light language really quickly. So it's way, awa, blessing. Way, awa, blessing. Way, awa, blessing. And just feeling that as it activates in your body. How are you feeling?
Well, Catherine is on the Q&A, so we can only imagine that she's
Oh,
feeling
that's
wonderful.
great.
But I just love the experience that it's just so fun. Like you place these codes. It's a bit like playing with Lego, you know, as a child. You put the Legos, you put the codes, and then with the light language, you just fire them up. It's just wow. That is really something. So, Catherine, we hope you feel good about it. We're pretty sure about it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jules. We'll come back to have more readings, but I would love for you to share about the wonderful offering you've created, Jules, DNA Light Language Embodiment. So we'd love to hear all about it. So for everyone to follow, you can go on the web to gracefulconnections.com/Jules4. That's graceful with 2 L's, gracefulconnections.com/JEWELS digit 4. If you're on the webcast, you have a button and a link that you just click and get on the page. If you're on the replay, just scroll down the page to discover Jules' special offer. Jules, would you please reveal what you have created for our audience?
Yes, of course. So, okay, so I'm super excited about this light language class. Actually, a member of my community encouraged it, and I followed that lead, and it actually has become something that's just so much more than I was expecting. So I'm super excited to teach this class. It's going to start by learning to actually create sound through the operating system. So just like we did with Matthew with visualization, the first place is that we're going to learn to actually create sound from the frequency of source and tap into what that feels like to open our mouths and just allow the divine to speak and shift energy within our body, our mind, and really start to communicate with the operating system from the frequency that it's holding. And then from there, we're actually going to learn the very specific coding of the 12 strands of DNA, how we can use, just like what I've done for you today, that you can use specific codes to shift almost like a Google system. So if it's something that you're wanting to manifest or to heal and all those different things, that you will have very specific languages that will activate that frequency within your body. And then you're also going to learn the hand movements, almost like sign language, so that you can tap into that frequency and make it almost like a, well, it really, I mean, depending on how you see it, it's either a manifesting tool, it's a healing tool, it's a conscious tool, it's a way that we can start to get out of the mind and start to experience our operating system and to co-create within it. So that is from the 28th to the 31st. And I think that
of October, right?
Of October, yes, coming up. Yeah, so that is, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I'm just so passionate about this class. I feel like I'm not doing justice of how amazing it is. But it definitely will be, it'll be an experience. And it's really fun to just learn about the divine molecular technology. So I call them DMT codes. And just learning to work with these codes in different ways is just really fun. So you'll learn a little bit more in depth of what you experienced today. Again, readings.
So, can I ask a question, very practical, being very down to earth, because some of our audience maybe are on a different time zone, or maybe their schedule can't match. Can we work, because this is a live workshop series, right? At the dates that you mentioned, 4 live workshops. Can we work with it, join and work with it equally with the replays? Is that going to work for us?
Oh, yeah, of course. And then there's also in the school that we have forums. So if you want to work with some of the other students, you can connect to them in the forums, and even connect like offline if you want to get together on their own Zoom call. So we have a lot of ways of connecting with the community and the other people in your class. You'll have ways of connecting to. So if you can't connect to the live calls, the replays are always just as powerful, because we are in no space, no time. And
right.
And one thing that I love about the way that we work is that it is truly frequency. And so when we start to experience even learning something through the experience of frequency, that's something that transmits all time and space, so that you just don't miss out on anything.
Perfect. Okay, so this is for everyone, whether you can make it live or make it on the replay. And yes, I love that you have included that there's the community, and we can have some buddies with whom we practice and play and experiment. So that's really cool. So this is option 2, the DNA Light Language Embodiment course, live workshop series. And you have an option 1 that includes this course, and what else?
Yes, so then it also includes the Odyssey Ormus. So the Odyssey, so we haven't talked about Ormus yet, so I'm going to give it just a little shout out because it definitely deserves it. So Ormus stands for Orbited Rearranged Monoatomic Element, or Unidentified Substance. It's a 5th dimensional element that can be alchemized. And when we bring it into our field, whether you're doing it transdermally or choosing to ingest it, it's working with the body multidimensionally. They call it a multidimensional element for a reason, because it's in a spin state. So what that means is that if you were to look at it under a microscope, it would be there 1 second, it disappears and comes back. So when it's spinning, the element is spinning, it goes multidimensionally. So some of the studies that have been done about Ormus is showing that it's activating the pineal gland, it's extending telomere length, it's activating those other 10 strands of DNA consciously, because we have to remember those 10 strands of DNA are already activated. We're just not having the experience because of where our consciousness is being held. And so something that we all want to really, I'm just really surprised that Ormus isn't as big as it is. And if you haven't experienced Ormus, I say that I had my life before Ormus, and then I have my life after. It made that big of a conscious shift for me personally. And my journey with Ormus is like probably a whole nother interview, so I won't go into it. But it is a passion. So this specific Ormus has actually been charged now with all 4 eclipses of this year. I actually we were in Arkansas for the full solar eclipse and activated it there, and then all other eclipses have been also activated. So it's very connected to dissolving timelines, activating the quantum DNA, and consciously connecting to the frequencies and just really amplifying every experience that you had today, but it's doing it through this multidimensional element.
Wow. Yes, I can only imagine. Just let me ask, is this for you personally? So let's say, for example, I guess there are so many ways, but is this something that you use daily, or how do you work with it, work or play with it, create?
Right. So I used to, in the beginning, it was a daily thing, but now what ends up happening, the more that you have it in your life, the more it actually starts to communicate with you. So there'll be days that I don't hear it, I don't think about it, and then all of a sudden I'll be, oh, you should do this with it, or you should do this with it. So examples would be, you get a cut, and even though it can hurt to put it on, it heals super, super fast. I use it on my skin to diminish wrinkles. I sometimes will do it before ceremony and take a couple drops under my tongue and really work on connecting to the operating system, getting out of my programming and really attuning to information that's very precise, it's very clean, and you know when you're tapping into intelligence outside yourself, right?
Got
so
it.
That's how I use it for that specific reason as well.
Right. So yeah, I hear you. We become very intimate with it and have this dialogue and have this, very cooperative and synergistic way of working together. Okay, wonderful. So that's option 1. And yes, hearing you about Ormus, I'm surprised as well that it is not much more widely spread. So thank you for making it available to our community through this special offer. So option 1, you have the Odyssey Ormus plus the DNA Light Language Embodiment course. And all that comes with it, the community and everything. So that's option 1, the full package. And option 2 is the DNA Light Language Embodiment. Very generously priced for all that you bring through this. And you have a 2-payment and even 3-payment plan to make it even more accessible. Now, one thing I would like to ask you, Jules, who is this for? How do you perceive this, that who is this for?
I would say it's for anybody that is looking for what's next, right? I'm just going to, for me personally, the work that comes through me or is activated within me is very unique. It's all I can say. If you're looking to experience healing, manifesting, how to hold consciousness through a technology that is stored within you and having the experience of what that is, then this is for you. If you're kind of looking for more of that pioneer way shower, something that's you can't really find anywhere else, then this is for you. And right? Like if this is what you are during this call, pay attention to that, right? Not on an emotional level, but on the knowing level. And if this is like, okay, there's something to this, and I don't understand it, but there's something happening inside of me. Pay attention, because that means you are remembering. And one of the best ways to remember is to be in the frequency of others that are remembering and having the experience through frequency, because then eventually you're going to understand it and it's going to blow your mind and you're going to be so happy you followed that.
Mhm. Mhm. And as we said earlier, once the mind gets it, it's integrated and complete, right? Once we're like, oh, now I get it, we're going to be complete with it. So yes, thank you for that. And yes, definitely, you have certainly demonstrated how unique your work is. So there's no doubt about this. Definitely. Thank you so much, Jules. Thank you for creating this special offer, and again for bringing forth the Arnes. And I'm delighted that with Graceful Connections we are contributing to the spreading of it and making it much more widely spread. So thank you for that. Let's take a few more readings if you're up to it. Are you good with that? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Q&A, then I'll go back to the live callers. Let's see. Linda in Flagstaff, Arizona asks, can you read my biology to help me ascend my consciousness? And she says, I need to relocate, but I don't know where to go. So somehow I have a feeling that either directly or indirectly, this will resonate with many. So there's something, I don't know, there's something about location or where we need to be that wants to come through. So, Jules, what is coming through for this question?
Well, I just had a vision, but I was just, I love Flagstaff. I was just there last fall, and it was just such a magical experience. Okay, so this is the vision. I always like, if I get a really intense vision and it kind of hits me, I don't normally like to be this specific, but in this case it happened. And so I got Mount Shasta. So that's what came through. I'm just going to leave it at that.
That's it. Okay.
With that code, I also got, like, as soon as I pulled the card, had the vision, and I got code 8. And if you guys can't see what the codes look like, but they actually have images, and it kind of looks like a portal. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's appropriate. And then the second code she got was, I love that how many masters are on this call today. I mean, we're all masters, right? So we're all masters in remembering. The second code she got was the 33, and then the 5 is that, yes, there is a shift that's going to happen. And so with that, I'm not really sure what else to give. I feel like you can't get more specific. And,
I think that's perfect, yeah.
I'll just follow it up with, this is why I don't normally like to be so specific, because it has to be from your heart space. And so, yes, I gave you what I saw, but don't make your decision because I said this. It has to be a decision that comes from your heart and in perfect alignment with your divine guidance. And so if anything, maybe just allow this information to activate a frequency in you, because, the divine always works in mysterious ways. And it's not always exactly what we think it is. And so until we sit in it and allow the divine to inform that first piece of information, we don't act. So my guidance to you is to allow this be the seed that has been planted, but let the divine water it and allow it to start to grow until it feels true for you. And at that point, it may be that it's somewhere else, right? It may be that this was just an activation of a specific frequency, And until you let the divine inform it all the way through, I want you to just wait for the divine yes. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, wow, that's so interesting. I love it. Thank you, Jules, because it's very clear hearing you that yes, it may be that Linda here needs to hear Mount Shasta in order not as Mount Shasta being the answer, but hearing Mount Shasta and receiving all that comes through will allow her to get her clarity. And with that, it gives a sense that this may happen many times with readings, that there's what comes through the reading, but that's not actually our answer. That's what allows us to receive our answer subsequently. So that's so interesting. So interesting.
Thank you for just saying that so clearly.
Well, thank you for bringing it through, because it never occurred to me, but now I get it, and it does make sense in a strange kind of way. But so thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda, and blessings to you. Let's go back to the live callers. We're gonna go to Cleveland, Ohio, with Carol. Unmuting you, Carol.
Okay. Hi.
Hello. Hi, Carol.
Hi,
Welcome.
Sophie. Hi,
Yeah,
Jules.
welcome. Hi.
I'm so excited to be on the call. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My body is going haywire, and I'm also moving, so I'm listening to everything, and I'm taking it all in.
Beautiful. Is there something you'd like to focus on?
I think most important would be my healing. I have a lot of healing that needs to happen in my shoulder, my knee, my back. My body's just with breakouts, skin things. So whatever you feel is most pertinent.
Okay, let's see what comes through. All right, so everybody, it's 33. Okay, so you're getting 233.
Do you want to hear?
And so this 2 is that bridge, communication. Okay, so it's also the liver. If you think about the liver, it's like basically our biggest processing center as far as toxins and that sort of thing.
I just took my elixir, my Arnes.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, there you go.
Beautiful. Okay, and then you have the 33, which is your quantum body. And then you have the 3, which is your intestine. So definitely have a lot of detox stuff here. I'm just going to test something really quickly. Okay. So I think instead of going into a lot of detail on this live call, if there's a way that you could just message and I can give you more specifics of what's coming through. But so just think, okay, so liver, if you want to press the point just about 4 fingers below, oh no, I'm sorry, the liver is on the top of your toe. Just pressing the point if you can. If not, I'll do it for you. Between your big toe and the next toe. So just pressing that and activating DMT code number 2.
Okay.
Okay, and then the quantum body is in the back of the head. So if you just put right at the back of your head and just kind of push and feel the frequency move through the back of your head into your pineal gland and activating DMT code 33, turning on that quantum body, that 963.
Are we talking by the neck or the actual top of the head?
Mostly like behind, just on the back of, like where the soft spot of a baby would be, like right there.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. All right. And then the last code is the 3, which is your intestines. So it's in the fleshy, like, web between your thumb and your pointer finger. So if you want to just press on that, and we'll activate CMT code number 3 connected to your intestines. And then we're just going to, with the light language, I want to focus on moving and detoxing the body. So it's Ra, Awe, Sawan. Ra, Awe, Sawan. Ra, Awe, Sawan. Ra, Awe, Sawan. Ra, Awe, Ra, Awe, Sawan. And I want you to drink a big glass of structured water at this if you want to. Just stir your water and make it into a vortex. Just structure it so it's holding that H3O2. And then just allowing your body to just release and detox. I would go ahead and just keep repeating. You can do the energy points as well as the light language. And then just always following by drinking a glass of structured water to flush out the toxins.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jules.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Blessings. Yes, fantastic. Wow. Jules, we know we could spend the whole day with you, and that would be fantastic as well. But I think really, obviously, the next step for everyone is really to work directly with Jules, get on board with the program that she's created, DNA Light Language Embodiment. So let me wrap this up. Before I give you the final word, Jules, option 1, you have the Odyssey Arnes and the DNA Light Language Embodiment live course that you can join live and work with the replay as well. That's 4 workshops. And option 2 is the course. So go to gracefulconnections.com/Jules4. On the webcast, you have the button, you have the link, so you get all the details on the special offer. If you're on the replay, just scroll down the page. And really, I mean, what a demonstration of the unicity of your work and of what you offer. It is just totally amazing. So is there any word of closing you would like to offer, Jules? You've offered so much already, but is there anything else you would like to add right now?
I think I'd just like to just thank everyone for just coming and bringing your brilliance. I mean, we clearly are on a call with Masters in Remembering, and it's, that's family, and I just appreciate all your love and support, and I guess that's where I'd want to end it. I just feel the connection, and my heart is full.
And our hearts are full, and so much gratitude. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment in the orb of grace, being present once again in the orb of grace, allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all that we have received, experienced, discovered, all that we are not even yet aware that we have received, allowing it to sink in, to settle in, as we are held in the orb of grace with our gratitude as well. All our gratitude for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all, being held in the orb of grace. And I'm closing now by giving gratitude to each and every one of you in the audience. Yes, thank you for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling of your divine molecular technology to awaken and to end the looping cycle of pain and suffering. Immense gratitude to you. You really are such a true pioneer for human evolution, Jules. Thank you so much for all the insights, the wisdom, the brilliance, the offerings you have gifted us today through all the graceful connections that have been woven with you and your masterful expertise. Thank you so much for joining us today. And gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred space for our journey of exploration. Gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment. Whether we are aware of it or not, it offers all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, the revelations, and the realizations that we open our hearts to receive. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us, and gratitude to the divine. Thank you. Until we meet again, many graceful blessings to you all. Thank you, Jules. Thank you, everyone. And goodbye now.